RBB Morning Show, the coach, mentor, marketing, and social media strategist you need each and every morning. RBB, a live morning talk show that gives you the ability to get the coach you need, strategist you wish you could afford, social media manager and strategist, marketing strategist, project manager, certified OBM, VA, business startup strategist, profit strategist, web strategist, email funnel strategist, sales page strategist, PR strategist, time management, mindset, and overall business development strategist. We answer it all. With over 25 years of business experience, both in corporate and small business worlds, we really can answer it all.
There's some really important things that from lessons learned from the epic disaster of 2019, as well as just past experience. I've been doing this for 25 years, so I have lots of experience with this, let me tell you. My past company, when I was doing IT stuff, and yes, I say mine because I was her owner. We only had at one point 10 full-timers, and then everybody else was contractors. So there is a very different hiring process between hiring an employee and hiring a contractor. And you need to, as a small business owner, make sure that you know what those differences are. Go look up the difference between having a 1099 contractor and hiring an employee. Because there are things you cannot do with a contractor.
Yeah, because I had a client last year who continuously referred to everyone as employees. And there was a whole group of people that was out there that they were making hires. And they're like, oh, my VA, who's my employee, my employee, my employee, my employee. And it didn't matter how many different ways you tried to explain it. Long story short is, unless you're paying somebody benefits and paying taxes on them and all of that, they're not your employee.
You also, as hiring a contractor, you can't tell somebody
that they can only work for you and only you.
Non-compete are now in the U.S. Most states won't honor a non-compete. There are very
for me, Alabama's behind, so we're behind about a decade. So I'm good down here.
So depending on, and it matters where the contractor is, not where you are. So you could have them sign a non-compete for Alabama, like Gina could, but not for New York. Like I'm in New York. I can't have somebody sign a non-compete any longer. Not legal in New York. You also can't dictate that somebody, I mean, you can ask them and they can agree to this, but you can't dictate how long they'll work, what hours they'll work, what software they'll use to do said work, and anything other than here's the job and here's the date that it's due. That's the only thing that you could do with a contractor, period. You can't tell them how to do it. You can't tell them what to do it with. So let's think about that, people. You hire somebody and things aren't stated in your contract with them.
Or you don't sign a contract with them. You're just paying them and you refuse to sign a contract with them. That's also bad.
Yes. You better detail. I'm going to use web design because that's the biggest disaster we've had recently. So it's right forefront on my mind. When you hire a web designer, you want to make sure that they know they're building on WordPress with this plugin for this thing. And the deliverables should be this. The timeline should be this. This is the graphics they should use. You need to dictate every single thing in your contract with a contractor. Hence contractor. You have a contract. And yes, I have to say that a million times because I talk to so many people who get in trouble because they don't have one. And you have to dictate everything, every detail. Otherwise, you have absolutely no say in what that contractor does or how they do their work. Don't assume they know what they're doing. Because I will tell you, a contractor has no freaking clue 99% of the time. And I'm sorry. I know I'm going to be a bit harsh today because this is not the first time I've been screwed over. This is, again, my group, 5,000 people in my group. 3,000 people have been screwed over by a contractor or a freelancer.
That means I'll just take that. I'm going to disclaimer. This is a trigger warning. So anybody that gets offended very, very easily, and takes everything that is said personally, even though it's not even directed at you because we don't know if you're listening or not, I would suggest clicking off now. Carry on, Danielle.
So remember my conversation maybe it was 2 weeks ago. I don't remember. 5,000 people, business owners in a group, 3,000 of them spoke up and said, I have been screwed over by a contractor / freelancer. So as a business owner hiring a contractor, it is on you to give them their contract of what you're expecting. A very, very detailed piece of work. We have always, unfortunately, with this disaster, we take 50% of the responsibility because we did not provide the contract.
But we also we were looking at them as a vendor, which is a little bit different.
And we will no longer hire people like that, period. And we have been very open about that. A very positive and good lesson for us to learn, unfortunately. Sorry, I'm shedding really, really bad today. It's driving me crazy.
We may sit down and do a full-blown lessons learned on what we learned from the disaster and the changes that we're making. I think that would actually be a really productive exercise for everyone to hear, because there is a lesson. Every lesson that you find in a massive disaster will improve your business.
Oh, tenfold.
It's
easily.
It sucks at the time, but it always ends up being a good thing. And I think that one day we will do that. Probably not this week because we're on this, but eventually.
Yes, Sandra. It is really sad to see so many people. And again, I call women business owner, women contractors / freelancers out, because women business owners are treated very different and treat things very different. There's a real difference. So it's really sad that so many people are getting screwed over by women. Like, seriously, I started my Be Boss Girl business. I started DG Marketing with Gina to work with other women and support other women. We are now going to be extremely selective and, unfortunately, micromanage and control every single person we hire, because we have to. We've learned lessons the hard way. So when you're looking at hiring a contractor, you need to know who you're hiring and what you're hiring for, and every detail about what they're going to do. So you, unfortunately, especially as a small business owner, you should not have to do this. You should be hiring an expert to do something. And this pisses me off when a client does this to me. So let me say that this is something I'm about to say that pisses me off when a client does this to me. You better damn well know how to do that job before you hire somebody to do it. That doesn't mean you physically have to know how to do it, but you better know how that job should be done, what it should be done with, all of the details behind it.
Because you could get screwed and end up having to do it yourself, which is what happened to us.
It's a good thing I have the skills I do. Otherwise,
because I don't have those skills.
We would have been screwed and we would have lost client. Like, we rescued all but one of the clients.
And the other one, it just been too long.
It'd been way too long.
It'd been way too disaster. We made an offer that she took us up on to make it right. But I mean, other than that,
she's not going to stay with us because she has lost a lot of business because of this disaster, because things weren't delivered on time.
When you've only made $50 in 3 months, when you're used to making a really consistent income, come on, you guys, would you say no? We kind of can't blame her.
Oh, we absolutely do not blame this client at all in any way.
We get it. We would do the same thing.
And so you have to know how to do this. So this is my suggestion to people, is you need to, and don't go to a Facebook group to ask what it is that these people should do, because you're going to get 900,000 different opinions and none of them are going to match.
Quit going to Facebook groups. They used to be useful and a wealth of information. Now it's the blind leading the blind. Like, come on, like, just stop it.
So my suggestion is, well, you could come here to the morning show and say, hey, Danielle, I'm looking to hire a graphic designer. What questions should I ask? That's what this show is for. This show is here to answer your questions about that. I'm looking to hire a web designer. I'm looking to hire a business strategist. I'm looking to hire a marketing strategist. I'm not going to be offended that you're not looking to hire me. We are well aware. We are out of most everybody that we're talking to here on the morning show. We are well out of your price range, but we are here specifically to help you.
Yeah.
That's why we're here. You have what we would give in a consultation when somebody hires us, free on this morning show available. Come here, ask questions. But at this point, I don't think there's a position I've never hired for a business, between tech world business, small business world, women's business world, online, digital. I think I've hired pretty much every position ever. You have to be your contract with the contractor. I don't care if the contractor had also better have a contract for you. And you should. It's not always necessary to have a contract both directions, but I would question a contractor that said, well, I have my contract, but I'm happy to just sign yours. To me, at least they're prepared and they have those things. That isn't necessary to have contracts both directions. But it's also not bad. So, there's nothing wrong with redundancy. So yesterday we talked about making that list for who you want to hire. And the types of positions. But now you need to really dive into all of the details that position includes. So while you're making that list that I talked about yesterday, the I love to do, I hate to do, I never get to because I don't have time list, start detailing out all of the things that have to be done under each of those things that need to be done. You should basically be able to project manage whatever the person that's coming on. However, as a contractor, hiring a contractor, you can't project manage them. That becomes an employee. And if the IRS decides to audit you, you will get in trouble. Mm-hmm. And when the IRS audits you for things like that, they will be checking all software you use, just so you know. That's not just checking your bank account and credit card statements and things like that. They will be checking for things like this. They will be checking your project management software, your emails, all of that. So keep that in mind. That doesn't mean you should stop emailing and talking to people, and no, Slack isn't secure and WhatsApp isn't as secure as you might think, and texting isn't as secure as you might think, because they can subpoena records. So, Apple's really good about that, but if you're not in an Apple phone, you're screwed. So really be careful how you're speaking to your contractor and know the difference between a contractor and an employee. If most people, especially in the small business, just starting out world, cannot afford an employee because you got workman's comp and payroll taxes, and you have to pay somebody to do it. Because let me tell you, I don't care unless you are an accountant or an EA, you probably can't handle doing your own payroll taxes and all that crazy stuff because it's crazy.
The Condra of exceptional tax services.
Yes. Hire Nicandra. We love Nicandra.
She's amazing. But she will be doing all of ours.
But you need somebody like that to do payroll taxes. Please don't do them on your own. I've seen small business owners grow up and
Don't do anything finance related on your own. If you do it by yourself, have somebody check it,
audit it. Yeah.
Something.
Anyway, remember the business owner I talked about that handed everything over to a bookkeeper and lost her house and everything she owned because of it? Keep that in mind. You could make those same mistakes yourself if you're not exactly positive what you're doing. Please don't do that. I beg you, please don't do that. It just hurts my heart to see somebody make those mistakes because they're simple. Okay.
Just be smart, people. Just be smart. Most people, you end up with your, in a crack because you're trying to cut corners. You're trying to free your way to $1 million.
This is a famous phrase for a reason. You have to invest money to make money. Those of you DIYing your business, you might stumble upon and do great for a little while, but you're going to make a mistake and you're going to get in trouble.
Yeah, you're really putting yourself at risk. This camera drives me nuts. We get it. everybody has financial constraints, no matter what level you're at. I mean, even companies that are making billions of dollars a year, they have $1 billion in assets. Most of that is tied up somewhere. There are budgets everywhere. There's financial constraints regardless of the size of the company. So we understand that, but you still have to be smart. And, it's, if you you have to invest money back into your business, and it is worth it to spend the money to protect yourself rather than chopping up and Googling stuff and chopping together your own contract, or, trying to file your own taxes when you don't know what you're doing, or do your own bookkeeping when you don't know what you're doing. And trying to call the IRS when you don't know what you're doing. Seriously, it is worth it to spend a little money and know that you are protected. Because I had an issue with the IRS at the beginning of this year for my last year taxes. Nakandra handled it for me. I didn't have to do a thing. Same thing with my estimated taxes. Nakandra re-estimated them for me. Didn't have to do a thing. She's on it. She's doing it for me. I know everything is fine. Our books are getting done every month. She's asking me questions. She's teaching me how to do things so she's able to do it. Our financial health is good. Our legal health is pretty good. We have our list of things that we have to do, but they are on the dock because they cost money, but we know we have to do them, and we will.
Hiring a contractor has to be something that you are very sure of and have very sure in strategic steps set out for doing so.
And then also make sure you're hiring through something or somewhere that protects you as the consumer.
So we had a conversation yesterday. We have a few contractors we work with, very few, because they have earned our trust. Sandra being one of them, Allison being another, Lisa, and I cannot say her.
We can't say her last name, but she's amazing.
From Zoncom Productions. She is phenomenal. Her and her husband are really amazing. And Krista Eichenberg, I had to think of her married name. Brittany Moffitt. We have a very select few group of women that we work with.
Desiree, I don't know her last name.
Desiree Wilcox. She writes phenomenal sales copy for us and has written blog posts for us. There are a very select few. And all of these women, Lisa is the newest, but everybody else I worked with for a year or more. Desiree I worked with for 2 years now. Brittany, about 2 years now. They've earned my trust over and over and over and over again. And I will tell you, Brittany Moffitt stood up for me and stepped in for me in a big way in October when some other things happened that I needed help with. And Brittany has been amazing. And I do the same with her. That's the type of women and people, contractors you want to work with. I have an employee I had to fire in my IT world. Let me see. It's probably been about 5 years since I fired him. But I had to fire him due to some contract stuff. He didn't show up to work for a week straight.
Kind of can't do that.
He was sleeping in. And the contract he was working on got pissed. Well, yeah. So I had to fire his butt. But he was a good worker. I had some issues this weekend while I was on an IT job, and I reached out to him, and he stepped up, and he's working on stuff. And he's learned his lesson. He's checking in with me 3 or 4 times a day and letting me know where he is on the work that he's doing.
Which
that's
even as
the type of communication that you are looking for.
That's what you should be doing, and that's what you should be looking for. We had Lisa checked in on something last night
that I forgot to let her know about. So you are looking for. These are bless you. Poor Gina. So these are some characteristics you're looking for, and these are things you should ask when hiring. You should ask, how do you communicate with clients? Is it via email? Is it via Slack? Is it via text message? Is it via Facebook Messenger? All of them. Facebook Messenger drives me nuts, but it's approved. It works. It's a consistent. How often do you check in while you're working on a contract? How often do you provide me full stats on everywhere that you are and project updates? How do you organize your projects? I want to know, are you using Asana? Are you using Trello? Are you using ClickUp? Are you using Monday?
Are you using a spreadsheet? Like, what are you doing to stay organized and stay on top of your stuff?
Yes. Sandra had a family party last night and was checking in on things that she needed to do. That is your responsibility as the contractor. If you're somebody, those are pieces of information you should provide those hiring you. What is your onboarding process? I want to know I'm hiring somebody. How do you onboard me? What are the questions you ask? Do you have formal way to get me onboarded? Well, we just meet and we'll go over things and I'll take some notes and then I'll let you know. Nope. That's not acceptable to me any longer.
No, because you obviously don't have a process to get you don't have a project process. If you don't have an onboarding process, you don't have a project process, because if you had a project process, then you would have a very specific onboarding process.
Mm-hmm. Now, I've heard from somebody that I work with, we do set up an initial onboarding call. I'll take some notes. I'll put together the project phases, and then I will send those to you for you to approve. Great.
Perfect. That's all we want to hear.
That's perfectly fine. And we do that for our clients. So we have a client we're onboarding today, and she is a new social media client, but she has a custom package. So she has an onboarding call today. In that onboarding call, she's already answered and had a forum where she answered all kinds of questions for us and got us a bunch of information. We'll go through that, make sure everything is correct. And then we find out exactly what her timeline is, how she wants to proceed. And then we will put her and everything, all of our notes into Monday, because that's what we're using. Or Trello. I've got to decide, because she's a custom social media package. Trello might be where she goes because too much stuff. And then we proceed to the next step, which is starting to get her approval on posts and things like that. So we have definite, defined steps for bringing somebody on. We are an agency. We are not a contractor, but we still provide those pieces of information. As an agency, I don't have to, actually.
We don't have to, but we know that we know that there are trust issues there when outsourcing and hiring out. So we would rather over communicate to the client and make them feel comfortable and help them feel involved, and rather than they're in the dark, rather than just going, I'm not tell you nothing.
You hired me. I'm the expert. Go away.
Yeah.
I had a contractor once, that somebody I hired tell me that once. In our first 15 minutes of a call after I signed a contract, I rescinded the contract because she violated. Don't tell me. It's my business, not yours. Now, I will give a client a piece of professional advice, and I will define what I mean and all of that. And if they still decide to not follow that because it is their business, I do have clients sign off on that.
Yeah, and we have to do that because we have to protect ourselves, because in the event that the client, they blow off our advice and then it crashes and burns just like we told them it would, we don't want it to blow back on us, where then they are trying to do a chargeback. They're trying to, blame us for not doing a good job. So we kind of have to have that documented. Mm-hmm. And we would recommend you doing that also in the future, because you're giving, it's a professional opinion on something they've hired you to do, and they are declining it. So you want that in writing, because when the chargeback comes, you just send that little form off.
Yep.
Because people get mad.
Yep.
And they do ridiculous stuff.
Those of you that hire people to build websites, do graphic design, write content for you, that don't like how things turn out for whatever reason and do chargebacks.
That's not cool either.
I reached out to a lawyer. I have a client that did a chargeback for a major website that she has in possession of, and she's using. I could prove she's using and been using for over a month. She did a chargeback because she doesn't like how something looks. She approved the design 6 months ago. And PayPal, of course, the last client I allowed PayPal to be used for, of course, always sides with the buyer. And so I reached out to my lawyer and I sent him the contract that she signed and all of the payments and all of that. And I said, she's got to be avoiding, she is going against copyright law. She has stolen my design, all of my copy that I wrote for her website, all of the SEO services I wrote for her website, a bunch of social media content that I wrote for her. And he's like, absolutely. Guess what I got back? I got all my money back because she got a cease and desist. She had to return all designs, all copy, take it all down, and delete it all, not archive it. She had to prove that she was deleting each and every post. There were like over 100 social media posts that I had written, and take her website down, cease and desist immediately. She had less than 72 hours to pull it down because she was violating copyright laws. Because until somebody pays for something, I own it. So think about that when you're doing a chargeback against somebody too. If you have hired them to do something, if you don't like it, communicate that. Try to get it changed. Stop the contract. Let them know this isn't working out. Whatever. Don't just do a chargeback because you are literally stealing from them. And those of us in the small business world need to get smart and not use PayPal. Again, this was the last client I used PayPal for.
We do everything through QuickBooks. Just pay for it, you guys.
If you don't like it, there are a couple of reasons. One, you didn't hire somebody that was qualified to do it. Two, you didn't communicate what you wanted properly.
Don't approve it if you don't like it.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the big one.
Don't approve it if you don't like it. So make sure you're protecting yourself. And this is all in the protecting yourself as a business owner and or a contractor every step of the way. It's very, very important to protect yourself. And that's what every one of these conversations goes back to. It's protect yourself. It's something you need to do. And I know that those are lessons that we've all learned the hard way. Every single one of us. So 25 years of experience. And again, I let it bite me in the butt recently because I was trying to be nice.
Which
I'm not nice no more.
We can't be nice anymore because we're eventually going to get to announce something extremely exciting that the paperwork was just signed on this week. So the ink isn't dry yet. So we'll probably wait and we'll announce it soon. But the level that we're playing on as far as business goes and the level of client that we will be working with and the type of services that we will be offering, we can't be nice anymore. We're not playing. This is not this isn't a hobby. This isn't a little hobby business. We're not just trying to get to six figures. Like what we're doing over here, like the opportunities that have been presented to us are a very big deal. And because of that, we have to be mean, for lack of better terms. And it's just because we have to be able to present well and provide really, really, really excellent service. And that's just because of the level that we're playing on. I mean, there's no getting around that.
So the thing we can announce it because
we can announce it. Cool. Okay. Yay. This is a big deal, you guys. And we're so excited. Like this is huge. This is huge. So
Gina and I are a corporation. We have set ourselves up for success. We have made connections that were possible to do this. And we have been selected to be the social media management and content creation team for the Social Media Strategy Summit. This is one of the number one. This is rated the number one social strategy summit for marketers, and people that attend are like, the marketing team for McDonald's
or the CMO. CMO for Lyft is there. CMO for Uber is there.
Yes, this is who attends these things, not people from small businesses. And Gina and I are not only their social media team, we also have been are going to be vendors at this.
Mm-hmm. So we'll have a table and we'll get to rub elbows
with the CMOs of McDonald's and Lyft and Uber. And
I guess in mine and Danielle's case, shoulders with the elbows of these other people.
Yeah, we're short.
We're tiny.
And these are who our ideal clients are.
we get to interview these people. We get to talk to them. We get to network with them. That is our little company is on the same level as Lyft, Chevron. I can't even remember all of it. McDonald's. Who else is there? Like, there's a ton of them. You guys can go to the website and see, which you will eventually see us when it is updated. Our logo will be there as well, just like everybody else. If you're from the tech world, Oracle is going to be there. Oracle is huge.
And I know who's going to be there because I know them. I've worked with them in the past. I am very excited to get to be working with this level of marketing professionals. I have worked with them in the past in the IT world, some of them.
You have to follow us on Instagram because we will be, we'll be doing the whole thing from there. You guys can be massively entertained because my ADD will go absolutely crazy. My little country self is going to be in the middle of New York City. Danielle has threatened to make me a leash kid. Like, it's going to be fun.
I am a New York City veteran at this point.
I'm not. I've never been to New York. I've never been, I lived in Atlanta, but that's nothing compared to New York. Like,
I've been to Atlanta. No. We're super excited to be able to offer this level of service. And we will be interviewing all of their speakers. I'm going to be speaking to all of their speakers and doing live interviews on Facebook with them and doing things like that over the next few months. So this is a completely different level. And like I said, all of you can take a look at it and stuff, but there's not one of you that this is for. This is for people with marketing budgets in the hundreds of thousands of dollars, not those with marketing budgets in the $500 or less range.
Yeah, this is huge. And then not only that, we also have been contacted by a foundation that is a foundation of a major Hollywood actor. So this is a big deal, wanting to, and the talks have just begun, and this will probably take a couple of years to get through, but we were just honored that they reached out because of what they do to give back to the community and the education system in the United States. So they have reached out to us also to partner with them to be able to offer education of some kind. I can't say much because it's just started, but offer
it's going to take
hard knowledge into the hat. Let's put it that way.
Yes. And working with young women and building them up and showing them that there is alternatives to life on the streets and other alternatives like that. So that is something that's very near and dear to my heart.
Mine too, actually, because I'm from somewhere where they don't expect you to do much. Where I went to school, there was I shared a locker with a girl that was pregnant. We were in the 7th grade.
Yeah.
I watched my class dwindle down from people going to jail and getting knocked up. So
the actual event is October 15th through the 17th in New York City, and it is Social Media Strategy Summit. And
they're so excited, and honored. Like, truly, it's a massive honor. It really is. And so we now, I know a lot of you guys have felt like we've been talking a big game, but now we have now the social proof to back up what we've been saying. So I hope you guys will take this seriously and start taking heed, because you can do it too if you
Absolutely. So this morning show is here for you. Again, come ask us questions. You don't have to pay my $500 an hour to ask me questions one-on-one. You can ask me here and I will answer you.
Same here. Yes, Danielle is the marketing and social media expert, but I'm becoming one heck of a strategist. And not only that, what I do runs the business. So I can help you there.
Yeah, don't ask me about that crap, because I don't like to do it.
A wealth of resources that are sitting just in our two minds that are sitting right here in front of you. Please take advantage of it.
Please do. Have an amazing Wednesday, everybody. I hope everybody has a great day, and I look forward to seeing you all tomorrow. Have a great one.
Bye, guys.
RBB Morning Show, the coach, mentor, marketing, and social media strategist you need each and every morning.